Welcome to Collecting Consciousness, where we aim to capture the ever-expanding and evolving conscious creations that originate from the minds of fellow podcasters, strangers, dear friends, and loved ones.
In this podcast, we will expand on our inner wisdom and a coming home to self. From our conscious minds to yours, we welcome you to the Collecting Consciousness. I pulled these cards for myself yesterday, pulled this deck, and I got this deck for my birthday, and I've been pulling every day, getting to know the cards. They're really beautiful. I can't wait to show you. Anyways, I pulled this card yesterday, and I said, oh, how fitting for tomorrow's episode. And then literally just pulled you the exact same card. Trust yourself.
Don't even. Oh my God, that's amazing. Wow, look at that artwork.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to show you for the artwork because I knew you'd love it.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's amazing. Ooh.
Yeah. And then look at the front, the ancestors.
Wow. Oh.
So this is called the Sacred Rebels Oracle. It's a really beautiful deck. The artwork and it's amazing. I'll send you a picture of the thing, but it's so straightforward. Trust yourself.
What a cool way to open.
A great way to open. That's always like, oh, Bethany, hit record.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trust yourself. And I like, as it being fitting, why is it fitting for today's episode? Is because this episode me and Bethany have been talking about for like, I would say since like Christmas. We were just saying we want to do an episode on trust. So that's what we're going to do today. And, before we hit start, Bethany was like, how do we want to do this? So I always know that whatever happens, we're trusting that it's going to happen. So I think it'd be beautiful to do prayer and breath work.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And I love that you followed your intuition just to pull a card. And it's also divine. You know what I mean? Just like you trusted your intuition to pull the card with me. We don't always ever really do that in the beginning of an episode.
No. And it's funny that you say that too, because there's this one oracle reader that I follow that she is fucking like, she's spot on with my shit. Like it's insane. She's like I have two people now that I really resonate with. Anyways, I started this morning off this video with, she's like, keep trusting your intuition. She's like, you're already trusting your intuition. So she's like something big is on the horizon for you. And like, there was all this like detailed shit I'm not going to go into because it's going to be too long, but there was all these other things that were resonating. But she was like, the thing that you're really like, you're manifesting your goal, like you're seeking, trust that it's coming. And she's like, I already know like this collective that I'm talking to is already tuned in with their intuition, so keep like hearing those messages and keep going with those. So yes, like you said, trusting that. I wanted to pull a card, I felt it out in the kitchen when I was getting coffee, and fucking rolling with it, not questioning yourself. But we'll talk more about how to lean into that, because trust is easier said than done.
Yeah.
And it's taken me time to really ingrain in my body. And so we're going to get into that. But let's
start with breath.
Let's let Bethany bring us into some breath work.
Awesome. Well, welcome back to another episode of Collecting Consciousness. And if you can join us today in this breathwork and prayer, I invite you to settle into whatever space you're in. If it's your car, if it's your bed, maybe just a chair outside, blanket on the grass, wherever you're at, just settle into that space. And if it's available to you, I invite you to close your eyes, gently bringing the eyelids down, allowing them to rest, and allowing our gaze to fall inward. And as we bring our gaze inward, I just invite you to observe your breath. Observe its rate, its depth, its rhythm, without judgment. Just trusting that it's doing exactly what it needs to do in this moment to keep you alive. And as we observe the breath, I invite you to make some observations of areas within your body that are holding tension. So in the shoulders, maybe behind the eyes, the jawline, maybe in your belly, your low abdomen. Just bringing that loving awareness to those areas, not trying to change them, just being with them. Now I'm going to count down from 3. And as I count down from 3, as I get to 1, we're going to exhale together. 3, 2, 1, big exhale. Allowing all the breath to leave your body and pausing at the bottom, really holding it here for just a moment. And then allowing the breath to gently find its way back in, allowing the breath to fill the belly, expand the lungs. Allow the chest to rise as we get to the top of the inhale, pausing for a smaller moment here. And then exhaling, allowing a nice deep sigh to leave the body if it's needed. Allowing the belly to completely empty. And at the bottom, pausing for a few moments, really allowing the nervous system to settle in and relax. And then inhaling, allowing the breath to gently find its way back into the body, filling the belly, expanding the lungs, allowing the chest to rise as we fill with this beautiful prana, life force energy, and getting to the top of this breath, pausing for just a sweet moment. And then exhaling again, really let it all out. Getting to the bottom of this breath, allowing it to stay for just a moment. And then inhaling, allowing the breath to find its way gently back in. Let this be the biggest breath that you've taken today or this week. Getting to the top of the inhale, pausing for a sweet moment here, feeling that life force generate inside of us. And then exhaling, allowing all the tensions to leave your body on this exhale. Allowing the breath to completely empty from the belly. We'll get to the bottom, really pausing for as long as feels good to you. Really sitting in this stillness, allowing the nervous system to really settle. And whenever it feels right for you, allowing the breath to find its way back in, returning to your natural rate and rhythm. Allowing the breath now to just breathe you. And trusting that it is exactly what your body needs in this moment. Maybe bringing a gentle awareness to those areas of tension that we started with, noticing if those have shifted at all. And if not, bringing no judgment, just loving awareness of our bodies. And if you feel called to, I invite you to place one hand on your heart, maybe followed by the other, as we enter into this prayer of intention with Courtney.
Thank you, Bethany. Can you soften into your heart space after this breath work? Can you soften into your soul? The soul-led lives are the ones that are leaning into trust, Our souls feel, know what's best for us. Allowing your intuition to be the guiding force in your life, helping you on your journey, helping you learn lessons, helping you learn love, trust, connection, togetherness. Can you soften into yourself, knowing that you have everything that's needed within you? Trusting those feelings, those thoughts, those emotions. To teach you discernment, to teach you forgiveness, to teach you all ranges of all emotions that all are meant to be here. Trusting that you'll always find your way and that where you are is where you're meant to be. Because if it was somewhere else, or because if it was something else, you'd be there. So leaning into your journey, trusting every fall, every heartbreak, trusting that the joy, the expansion, the evolution is here and ever changing. Trusting this journey of yours, trusting yourself. Set an intention if it feels right to you, and even intuitively create your own. I am here to live a soul-led life. I am living a soul-led life. I feel my soul-led life. I speak my soul-led life. I see my soul-led life. I trust. I welcome the journey of lessons and experiences. I welcome the journey. I trust, I trust, I trust. Feel that into your body now. Let it wash over you like an ocean wave, rippling, soft rippling waves through the veins, through the bones, through the muscles, through your entire being, mental, physical, emotional, energetic. And when you're ready, allow yourselves to join us for another episode of Collecting Consciousness. This episode is all about trust. Easier said than done, but showing up with consistency, showing up with a faith is what help you on the way. So maybe you are rubbing your hands on your legs, tapping your chest. Maybe you're washing away anything off the arms, the limbs, slowly opening your eyes, stretching a big stretch, yawning, letting the air out. Do what feels right for you and trust that it's exactly what you need.
Mm. I'm like wipe my eyes. Waking up for the
I was
day.
like, ooh.
Waking up for the day.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was great. That's
Yeah,
great.
it was. Yeah.
So I feel
Well
like we both,
intentional breath. Go ahead.
yeah, I love it. I love it.
What
I
were you
think
gonna say?
we both have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, honestly, I was like, Phew, what part of my journey do I bring in to talk about trust?
Yeah. And
Because
like
there's
all the journey. I also
well, exactly. The
like,
whole journey.
hmm
And then it's like the awakened mind that it's like when you then can see even more clearly and hyper focused, you're like, oh, boom. Those times that I wasn't trusting here, X, Y, and Z, you just like have this new awareness for it all. And like when at first, trust, I trust, you say it, you say it, you say it, but do you actually feel it? When you're first starting to try and learn and to go through the ickiness and the turmoil and all this shit. And it's like, trusting though that you are exactly where you're meant to be. So it's like now when I sit into trust, I feel it. Like I had just something happen to me. My sound healing course was supposed to be in January, and I booked a flight on points. I didn't get the like safety bit, so anyways, I get an email like a month later, and it was like the course has been pushed to March, and maybe like years ago I would have been like, fuck, damn, oh no, why?
hmm
I lost my flight. I didn't get my points back. I didn't get anything. Like I lost it, so I was just like, fuck it. I wanted to drive in the first place, so now I'm just so, and it's funny, I've been always saving up my points for like a trip, and like the last time I wasted my points, and then this time I wasted my points again. And the thing is, I have always been telling myself I'm saving them up for Europe, and I didn't buy this for Europe. So I was like,
the
Courtney,
universe, this is the big
yeah,
universal
yeah.
laughter at you now. Like, okay.
Exactly. It's like, do what you said, girl.
Yeah,
Anyways, but point being, I was like, where maybe years ago I would have been like, oh fuck, angry, sad, disappointed, all these like feelings of just like, ugh, like victim. I was like, it's getting pushed for a reason, and I understand that, and cool. I was like, I lost my points, whatever, they're just points. And there was no disappointment, there was no feelings. It was more of like a curiosity.
yeah.
And yeah, like what's gonna be. And then that weekend, it was Toots's birthday, so I got to spend the day with her on her birthday, and it was really special. There was like a bunch of special things that happened that day. And then that entire weekend was just incredibly special, that opened up all these avenues for me. I'm now in a burlesque show next weekend. B, I did this beautiful sacred ceremony called the Blessings Way. I talked about it in one of our other episodes, and it was one of the most magical experiences. And I got to like hold space for one of my closest and dearest friends and do some really beautiful, sacred, intentional things, and like have these really cool ceremonies. So that was one of the reasons. And even with the sound healing course, like I'm headed there at the end of March, and I've just been opened up to new avenues with sound healing. Like now I'm doing sound healing every 2 weeks at this place in the city, and I'm connecting with new people, learning different things, learning new concepts, learning new ways to do sound healing. So I'm really just soaking that all in. So that was like a really beautiful thing of trust for me.
And then I feel like let's rewind too, like, because it's like, so this is, I feel like that was like a healed version.
Exactly. I was going to say that. Yes.
And then it's like, so how do we get there?
Yes.
I feel like I'm there. I still feel like I'm still in the metamorphosis of like getting to the beautiful butterfly that trusts life and is just like flying through life and like, yeah, I trust where the wind's taking me. But like, I'm definitely still in the cocoon, and it's like,
100%.
I'm still there's still a lot of time. Yeah. And I mean, it like more and more, I'm able to taste what it feels like in my body. I'm more and more able to like drop into, like it's almost like a realization. It's almost like your consciousness just
It
sort of
is. It
zooms out
clicked.
from your life, and it's like, okay, remember when this happened and this happened, this happened, it all worked out like this, like, and it like,
It's a puzzle piece. To me, it feels like a
yeah,
puzzle piece.
yeah,
Clicking,
yeah,
clicking.
like that's a good way to
So
put it. Yeah.
I think, like, so one thing, the card, and I now have this card just left out permanently. This card I was getting all last year, maybe like even the year before, like literally nonstop. I trust the timing of my life. Trust the timing of my life. And I think when I started therapy, it's all about, to me, this is what it feels like. It's all about really building that faith within yourself, trusting, like hearing those thoughts, like, me, I journal like a son of a bitch. So, those thoughts that come out, I go back and I read it and I'm like, yes, that's a very intuitively soul-led thought. Lean into that, Courtney. Trust it. And like, even, okay, so like with therapy, I grew up in a family that money has been not like lacking, big family. And our parents like moved us to the States to give us a better opportunity in life. Feels like the American dream. And,
Right.
but yeah, like I realized that, after my ex moved back to Newfoundland, I had this house, I had all these bills, I was like a newly started my own business, like just pretty, like very fresh, very raw. And I remember like being in my massage room and literally putting my hands up after like the end of the day and being like, God, I'm scared and I'm worried, but I am trusting. I'm trying to trust. I'm trying to trust that I know everything's going to be okay, that I'm going to be able to do these things. And, Bethany, like that's taken a lot of reprogramming, a lot of reframing. And like coming back into that scarcity mindset, like my therapist, Therese, like that's one of the first things that we started working on in therapy. And she was like, God knows how much your bills cost. God knows how much your bills cost. So we went through and she started saying like very like progressive, insightful, big feeling type of feeling thoughts. Like one of the things, she always looks at me, and even my energy healer, she's like, it's funny, they both use the same thing. They're like, you're very shiny. And I was like, and like that's what they feel from my energy, that I bring this light, that I bring this shine. And I thought it was really interesting that both of them said it. So like when Therese was going through to reprogram my neural pathways, she was like, I'm shiny. And she goes, how does that make you feel? And I know that I have a light, and I know I have a really divine way of showing up. And so I felt it. I resonated with it. So, and then she said another one, and I can't remember what it was, but it didn't land. She says, when I say these phrases, if they don't land, if you don't feel something, we're not using them, because you don't actually feel it.
Yeah.
So what I would say in that cocoon stage of trusting, really like be an observer, come into breath work, see what are those repetitive thoughts that are going through the brain, like in those icky times of like when you're trying to trust and you're still not trusting. What are some things that you can start putting into your brain to reprogram, to get those neural pathways, like new puzzle pieces connecting, so that you can lean more into trust? Because when people canceled on me, I used to panic like a son of a bitch. I'd be like, oh my God, like money, blah, like how am I going to pay for things, X, Y, and Z? And like now when people cancel, I'm like, cool. Like I'm now at that stage, and it, like you said, it doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
It is a butterfly. It is being consistent. And to me, the thing that keeps coming up is having faith in yourself. Having faith that those dreams, those visions, those aspirations that you have, they're not from nothing. And that's why I did with the breath. It's like, or the prayer, a soul-led life. I always say our soul will never lead us astray. So even in the times of discomfort, in the ickiness of the, I'm still not quite trusting, but I am, but I'm not. That's okay. Have grace. Because things don't just happen overnight. We really, cliches are cliches for a fucking reason. You know, Rome wasn't built in a fucking day. We have to stop waiting for this urgency. And I think, like me and Toots have been saying, like, we are like leaning into the journey, like to be enjoying the ride, to be enjoying the messiness, to be enjoying the beautiful aspects, just really fucking being in it. That God has our back, your higher power, whatever you want to say, spirit, like God, nature, whatever, has your fucking back, 1000%.
Well, I want to highlight that because and I want to just go back real quick, summarize. I think that's a really big puzzle. I think that's a big piece of the puzzle and this is one thing that I've been marinating in, honestly, hardcore in the last 2 weeks, probably, or a week and a half, maybe, is I had a very rocky relationship with God. I never really got brought up with super solid roots with the God thing because I was very challenging of the church at a young age. And then that separated me from any, kind of separated slash, for a slight moment there, had a little bit of a spice towards it. You know what I mean? So very, very severed. And so now I'm stepping back into relationship with creator. For me, I feel like that feels good, but also realizing that we are one in the same. That's also what I'm struggling with is there is a bigger force that we are also, that is also within us. I don't,
that's why to me, I feel
I guess it's for me, it's cashing out less of a worship and more of a, we're walking hand in hand.
Yes.
I need to remember that. Cause I think what gets triggered for me with the God thing is that it's something outside of us that's controlling us that we need to worship in order for these things to happen. And it's no, it's you're walking, it's you're hand in hand with God. And it's the faith that that created, the creator God, whatever, has that plan for you. We all are working together in this co-creation of our lives. And so I've really been sitting with that big puzzle piece because I feel I don't lean on that enough. I don't lean on that okay, I have faith that, the creator or whatever is creating this life for me, with me, it's got it in their hands. And we're walking, we're doing it together. So I'm really recently trying to figure out that relationship, to call on that more and to be able to say prayer more, to be able to say prayer in a way that I trust it's being transmuted into the bigger design of our lives. Instead of just I don't know, I admire people that pray, and I don't really have a connection with prayer because I think I have that lack of connection with what it means and what am I praying,
where it's going.
What am I praying to? So
Thank you for tuning in to Collecting Consciousness.
we're so grateful that you've been on this journey with us so far.
And we look forward to seeing where we are going to expand, curate, and collect.
So if you haven't already liked, subscribed, or shared our content, and you feel called to do so, we would so deeply appreciate it. From our souls to your soul, and our hearts to your minds. We are collecting consciousness.
Heck yeah.
Just
couple things there. That's what I say. I've always been saying, I walk with God. I walk with God. And I truly feel that there is a higher power. Think of all the synchronicities, the signs that come to you that lead you to where you're meant to be. And you're oh fuck, like what? Like this is weird. But I also say like, yeah, we are co-creators. Like I think it comes into like a control thing too. It's like we're always feeling like we have to do the thing. We have to do this. I'm like stepping into the passenger seat and letting God, and we're working together. She's driving and I'm just with it. But the prayer, and I think, I understand, I have been working with God for a while now, but it's only like in the last year that I've vocalizing God, because it is that ickiness that a lot of us felt. I was fucking 13 and I went into mom's room and I was like, take all my fucking rosaries, take all my, like, I used to pray like a son of a bitch back in when I was like a child. Like I was always had the word angel on my shirt. Like I was obsessed with angels. I was obsessed with like praying and all that stuff. Anyways, I pray all the time and but I think in a sense it's like a lot of people, because the church, this is a layered thing. Yeah. Church is fucking corrupt. That's what it is. I'm not going and worshiping church. I am worshiping nature. I am worshiping the elements of the earth. I am worshiping the creation that I see, like the things that I think of and then they just come true. I'm like, there's magic happening, leaning into that. So it's like, if you want to like start, like, how could we strengthen your faith, like really, maybe it would be the elements, because you love being in nature. You love going to your tree. And the thing is too, maybe there's a little bit of pressure on you that you feel like you have to be doing it all the time, or you have to be doing it this and this and this, maybe lessening and being very intentional. Like when you do go for that morning walk and you stop at that tree, that's sacred. That's a special moment. That right there can be the entire
prayer for the day
of your day. Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I wonder if there's like maybe a slight pressure you're feeling.
Well, it's just like, I think I'd like to be able to step into it more in the times of doubt and worry of the path, to be able to say, like, please guide me.
I trust you.
I trust this. Like, I trust what's happening. Please guide me. Continue to guide me. So I'm like really trying to lean into that puzzle piece, because that is a big puzzle. I think it's a big puzzle piece. I think that's a big part of it, because like our human minds can totally like zoom out and check out, okay, we can reflect back on an experience or like, for example, I'm in this place right now that we just like built this house and we got the property appraised. And like, 3 years ago when we sold our house and moved and sold everything we had, and we were going through all this crazy chaos for a long time, for like the last like few years, we were like, is this like, what are we doing? Like, is this right? Like, did we make the right move? We kind of always felt like
there was like
forced out of a situation that was for our betterment, or like that was a better situation than this. And now that we're at this place where we built the house, we've got tons of acreage and this beautiful property, and like only now that I like got that appraisal and I'm like, wow, actually, like physically on paper we did well. Like this was a good move, like holy shit. But like in it, you're just like questioning it all. So I'd like to be able to be like in those
trusting more. Yeah.
Being like, okay, it's meant to happen. And then I think for me, the most fresh like trust area for me is like the whole fertility journey. So it's like, that is a very like great playground for me right now, to be like leaning into trust and just, really being like, and that's even hard in itself. Like now that I'm on the other side of making my body healthy, having a big, like, no pun intended, pregnant pause to like really focus on myself, I'm like, okay, this is great. Because like if I produced a child and I had all that stuff in my body and I had all like, who knows what kind of kid I would have had. Like, so like, great, thank you that I had, like, I can say thank you now, but like in it, you're like, what the fuck? Like,
and I think having that grace on yourself, like back when I was saying like, when I was like fresh out of a relationship and I'm like, oh fuck, like where's life going?
Yeah.
You know, having grace on yourself. And again, I think the key point in my opinion is truly having that faith in yourself that these thoughts, these visions, these feelings that you have, okay, they're happening. So you just need to trust it. And like something that came up for me when you were talking about that fertility and stuff and your house, it's like, maybe what he said, I'm waiting for that house.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
that's how I feel now more than anything.
you know, like it's like now that you have this house, that tiny home with 2 dogs, a baby, and you and Jonah, I think in a sense, you know, you'd make it work. You can always make things work, but I think that place would be way too tiny. I would be coming in and be like, woo, the energy.
You know how baby crazy I was? I was like so down to have a baby in just the little cabin without the extension, like only in the 16 by 16.
Wow.
Like, I was like, so like, we can do it. Yep. We'll just put the crib
Well,
down
the
there.
the pheromones were stuck in on the walls. They were latched on the walls, Bethany.
Hopefully nobody calls DHS, but I was like, we have our bed is like up on a platform. I was like, yeah, we'll just put rails around the whole thing so the baby doesn't.
Oh my God.
Like, I was like straight up. I was like, we can fit a birth pool in here. Like I was like really like it's gonna happen. Like I reflected back on that because I remember me and my friend Abby were walking one day. We were at the park at the beach at an outing, and we were walking, and I was telling her like, I'm ready for a baby. We're gonna do it. And she was like, you want to build a house first. She's like, you do.
Nice.
She was like, because they did it. They had the kids and then like had to build
coming from experience.
Yeah. And so she's like, you want to have a house. Like, you want to do that first. I was like, no, we're good. I was like, I just want to do it. Like, now's the time. We've been waiting forever. Like, we're just going to seize it. I did not want to hear what she had to say at all. But she's so wise and she's so right. Like, you don't want to be.
Did you go back to her and tell her that?
I will. I haven't had a chance to like really sit with Abby, but I will go back and be like, you're so right. I'm happy we did all this now because yeah, it's not fair to the kids. Like you could do it with kids, but it's really sad. And it also wouldn't be fair to my pregnancy. Like, you know, also like
the space. Yeah.
Is like to be like, could I have gotten pregnant and then I would have had to go out and hung drywall and paint and
and climb up over those bed all the time and like, what is the body feeling?
Yeah. So like, you know, did my mind want to rationalize and say that's what I want right now? That was like, there's like a part of me that like, yeah, could rationalize the shit out of all of it because I wanted it so bad.
Yes.
But like zooming out, bigger picture, thank you, Creator, for working with me and guiding me and allowing whatever's happening to happen. Because I am going to be like enjoying pregnancy whenever it happens.
Yes, in your home.
In a home.
In a beautiful home with like the windows, the looking, going out in the woods, all the things like magical and like the you know, the colors, it's very light. It's very, there's a lightness in there and it's
It'd be super nice. Yeah. So I'm grateful. You know, and
bottle that feeling up and save it for the next time that you are not feeling trust. That's what I would recommend. You know, really like when we do get those feelings, those bouts, we're like, oh shit, yeah, that's us trusting. Let's savor that. Let's seize into that and be like, let's try and feel that more. Let's feel that more.
And I will say that's like building your trust muscle. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Like you have to do that reflection of your life. Like I think it's a constant reflection of life to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Remember, it's working out for our betterment. Like remember, it's working out. Like this is why it's happening. Like, and you're right. Feel it, because it is like a wave that washes over that gives you this sense of like almost like a relief, like okay, yeah, you're right, like this is all happening exactly how it's supposed to unfold, like let's just let it go.
Also, like Peter Crone saying, he's like, you know, people are like, oh, I should have been in New York City, and he's like no, if you should have been, you would have been.
Yeah.
You know, we have to stop telling ourselves shoulda, coulda, woulda, and really just like take that gratitude and be like, right here, right now is exactly where you're meant to be. Like all the hard work I have been putting into my sound, to the sound healing, to all this shit, to the times that I've been not trusting the journey of like, can I do this? It's all starting to unfold like a fucking rose. And I'm like, yes, like, so it's helping me. It's building that trust muscle. And it's like being grateful that you're trusting more, being grateful that, oh, you had a lapse. Well, let's try again.
I'm happy you brought up that Peter Crone, because I know that I think you said something in the prayer that was similar to that. Like, I can't remember exactly what you said in the prayer, but it was of the notion like that if you're supposed to be somewhere, then you will be.
Yes, yeah,
but
exactly.
You're not, so you're here. And I love that you brought that up, because it's so true. It's like we tell ourselves we should be this or we should be that. It's like, nope, actually, if you were going to be, it's that simple. You would be like, and we don't remember
exactly.
that. Like we think we're just this like, like, I don't know.
And how people live, like when I hear shoulda, coulda, wouldas, like there's a part of me that's like, like I swallow, because I'm just like, not my place to say, but I'm just like, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, there's no point in us saying, I should, I wish, da, 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 da. And, in hindsight too, I just want to check the time. Okay, cool, we're good. I have breakfast plans later, so I just want to.
I have to get, yeah.
And I know you have a meeting. Cool. So you're on clock duty. Okay. Okay. But anyway, so also another thing too, let's just say you are having like this dream of yourself, this vision of yourself, and it isn't happening the way you are thinking it's supposed to happen, or it's not here yet. So I just want to use like a little cool thing that's happened to me that's just clued into me. And I said it on our last episode, but I love to sing, and I was a child and mom took me to an audition for Michael, and they were like, you sing, but I was like really shy, and they tried to get me to sing The Lion King, and I didn't get the gig. And then, so I was like 4 or 5, I'm 34 now. So 30 years later, my dreams of my voice are here. I'm doing it. I'm letting my voice out. I'm singing for people. And I even have bigger aspirations with my dream. My vocal coach, the first song that she got me to sing was The Lion King. So it's like what I thought was a beautiful message that came through for me, that the dreams that you have, maybe they didn't happen when you were 20. Maybe they're going to happen when you're 30. Maybe they're going to happen when you're 40, when you're 50. Like, who knows when? But it's like, if you feel it, and coming back to the feeling, if you feel it, it's going to come for you. Like, trusting that these things happen. So it's like, it didn't happen back then because I wasn't ready. Right. Now I'm ready. All these things, all these lessons I've had to learn, these experiences I've had to learn, the fears I've had to overcome, I'm now finally being like, hey, because like also fast rewind, 20-year-old Court was slightly performing or hula hooping, going to like little shows here and there, getting out and doing performance. I was doing German wheel, but there was a part of me, there's that confidence wasn't there. That faith in myself wasn't fully there. And now here I am, and it's here. So I'm just like, I have notes all around my house to get into my subconscious. And one of them is go after your fears, because those fears are the things that your soul really wants to do. And it's the ego saying, hey, this is unknown territory. Yeah. Don't feel comfortable. But our soul, what is meant for us will come for us.
Yeah, I love that. Good message.
So I thought that was like a little fun little note that, hey, just because it didn't happen back then doesn't mean that it's not gonna not happen.
And I like that you brought up the rose, because how I think of trusting the process is like an orchid. It's like, it's the teaching of the orchid. Like, if you've ever waited for an orchid to bloom, you better just be patient. I have one that I've been bringing back to life. And I mean, because it was literally dead with no blooms, and waiting for that first one to bloom, I would like, 'cause it
You know,
had the buds for like weeks, and I was like, oh my God, like what is it? It's a process, and it's just this like, to me, it's like that's kind of this trusting of your journey.
yeah.
Holding is just like massive amount of patience for that beautiful bud at the end. But like orchid, the
Yeah.
teaching of the orchid, if you've never owned
You
one,
doing the you
just
doing the
own
ice
one.
cubes?
And I don't do the ice
Yeah.
cube. I just give it a little sprinkle with the shower. I just,
Oh, nice.
we got a good little communication going on of what she needs
Cool. Hell yeah.
to her. She got 5 blooms now, and I'm like, wow. Yeah, I never thought I could grow an orchid, but it took patience.
Yeah.
It took months since last Mother's Day, because I killed it right around that time. Since last Mother's Day, and it just started blooming like 2 months ago. So it took months for me to just sit and watch it dead, like, oh, I hope it's going to be okay, but I just couldn't. But
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yes.
the process of trusting your life. It's just like you might have thought that dream of being a singer was dead, and if you did and you gave up on it, and if I gave up on
That feeling's gone.
yeah, then you would have never got to see it bloom. So it's like
Yeah.
really, yeah, you got to just stay with that.
Stay with the process. And I think too, like, again, I think the more I dive into just this type of work of, soul-led life, when I see chaos, I've said this many times, when I see chaos, when I see turbulence, when I see ickiness, I'm like, okay, strap in. There is like, you're going to go through it. You're going to fall. You're going to get back up. You're going to fall. You're going to get back up. You're going to maybe lose connections, lose friends, lose this, like, because the towering moment tears down for you to shed, to open up, to have that transformation on the other side. So anytime there's chaos, there is like the thing that always keeps me able to go forward and to really trust is I know something is on the other side waiting for me. And that I just need to actually break this part down of me, because this no longer is setting in my body. This no longer is feeling right in my body. Again, I think it all comes back to that feeling too. Because, and like you said earlier, you were like, oh, my logic mind is trying to like rationalize and because that is our mind. Like when we step out of our mind into our hearts, then we really are allowing that's where the soul lives. And that's that soul-led life, is that heart, that feeling that resonates. That mind can tell you X, Y, and Z all day. Side note, I did a dance therapy class yesterday. You would really love it. It's called 5 Rhythms, and you go through, it's like you rise, it's like an ocean wave. So you go through all these like 5 stages of dance, and it gets you to get out of the head into the body. And it was so insane. Like I just took note of my mind the rest of the day after. And I was not in the mind at all, like completely just in that soul, in that body, like very grounded in the body. So another little tip too, it's like when you are not trusting, are you finding you're in a really heady moment? So things that you can do: walk, dance is like movement, just shaking the body. And you don't have to, like, this class was 1 hour and 10 minutes, but the teacher, she was in Ontario, we were doing a Zoom, but we were at like a community space, and she was like, she just showed us for like 5 minutes at first, and she's like, honestly, even in these 5 minutes, I'm already in the body, but we're going to do this for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And it was like, whoa, like all the things, it was what everybody else was experiencing. It was so beautiful, but it just shows you like, and that's what I tell clients too. We don't have to do these things for X, Y, and Z. If you don't feel like you have the time, give yourself 5 minutes, intentional 5 minutes. Give yourself shaking, give yourself dancing, give yourself journaling, like write things out, shake it out. These are things to get you out of the head into the body, into the heart. Just a couple of ways, like just physical ways that you can learn how to like get into that faith, trusting, building part, out of the mind into the body.
Right, because it's not a mind game. It's definitely it's definitely a heart soul game. Yeah.
Feeling.
The one other thing I wanted to say about also, like, Yeah, I love that. I love that for a little hack of just like, yeah, because your minds can just get the best of us,
The stories that we get into.
Mhm. One other thing I just wanted to say is also that like trusting, I think sometimes like it could teeter on like, oh, I'm just gonna like trust that it's gonna happen, and like
Yeah,
you don't do
the
anything at all.
bypass.
You're just like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna trust it.
Yeah.
But it's I always think trust with inspired action.
Yes,
So,
yes, 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 yes.
yeah. So you're trusting that it's all working out, but please like take inspired
Do
action
things.
towards that, like whatever you're trying to do,
1,000,000% inspired action. I've been seeing that word so much in the last like 3 months. It's hugely important because I think, yes, sometimes we're just like, oh, whatever,
trust in the
creator,
universe.
God,
Yeah.
trusting the universe, then not doing anything, then just like literally doing nothing for your dreams. No, 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 no. You have to put it's a balance. You have to put it in. And then also the universe is like, oh, I see that they're really fucking trying. Let me throw you a sign. Let me throw you a confirmation that, hey, you're on the fucking right path. 333, like X, Y, and Z, like that song, that message that just chills through your body, that really vivid dream, or maybe like a little inspired action just happens that it's just like, yep, this is it. So yes, we can't just put our faith blindly. We have to do things. You have to show up for that. Comes into just showing up, showing up for self. You're showing up for you. And we have vision boards. Vision boards are also really great things. That's the thing that I haven't done yet, that my brain's been calling to me to do. And that's another just a sort of like, because you're looking for things. I saw a post the other day, and it was like, when it's like you focus on all the things that are going wrong in your life, so then more and more things go on wrong with your life. They said like the mind always wants to prove you right. The ego always wants to prove you right. So start telling yourself all the things that are going right for you, and then your brain wants to prove you right, so it will. So that's like another little hack. If you notice that you're in that mindset of like, whoa, like one thing bad just keeps happening after the other, try and start, like, if that's your concept, try throwing in all the things that are going right, and then you're retraining your brain. All about retraining that brain too.
I love that. It's funny, like I was thinking of when you said vision board, it like hit me different. And I was like, you know what? Like, because I've never done a vision board either, but I was just thinking, oh, maybe I should make one about like being pregnant and all the things that I think about.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. Like, I feel that even though Instagram for me is like through our account, it still
Right.
the algorithm has figured out that I like babies and people that
funny.
live in buses and
That's hilarious. I haven't been on the Collecting Conscious. I should go check it out. That's funny.
so funny.
If you go on the YouTube, you're going to be seeing like hip hop, a lot of Mac Miller.
It's so great. It's so great. So it's like, yeah. So what I was just thinking, I was like, wow, but I kind of do take in like through Instagram, like if you could interact with it in a way that doesn't create jealousy, but is that inspiration. Like I feel like through Instagram, I do have my own little, like I'll get on it for my, like those are
For yourself.
boards. Yeah. Like that is like the mamas that are being super healthy and this pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And like this way that you're raising your kids amazingly, like all the things are like, they're just feeding my consciousness in that way. So it's like, if you can interact with Instagram in a way that is not jealousy based, but inspiring, truly inspiring, like I think that's a like living live vision board.
Definitely.
It plants things in your mind. It does.
Well, and it gives you those inspirations. It gives you like, you're like, oh, I love that. I'm going to save that. I want to work with that. I want to do that for myself. Yeah, no, clearing out. I remember about, I think like 5 years ago, I cleared out my Instagram. I was like, what I was following from like high school. I was like, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Like major rewarping. And now it's literally the things that just fuel my soul. If you do feel like you're watching things and it makes you feel icky sorts of way, that's a good indicator to let that one out. But yeah, that's definitely another form of like a vision board. And then and going back to like the things that I place around my house, that is like, boom, another tangible, that's a tangible thing. I would say that, I mean, I guess the social media is still kind of tangible.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, there's so many different forms of how you want to create. Like for me, you know, you say like prayer is not something huge for you. Prayer is huge for me. I'm constantly praying. I'm constantly just singing. Like I'll just sing the things that I want for life.
Yeah.
And I'm just, you know, like and that's where we're all so subjective. Find those things that really resonate with you. And again, that faith in yourself, build that faith, build that trust muscle by having faith in your heart, having faith in your dreams, because those dreams are not just dreams for a reason. Like that's your soul being like, hey, let's go here. And, you know, like, it also takes a rewiring, a reprogramming of taking out people's thoughts, taking out people's projections, taking out people's things that they said about you. Because if I used to listen to, don't quit your day job, don't do that. And like, and sometimes I still bring that up and I'm like, you know what, Courtney, leave that shit out. I don't even care. I don't even care that people said that anymore. I'm just like, follow yourself, follow your dreams, because your dreams are truly your soul wanting to be led, in my opinion.
Right. What it's all about.
Yeah.
Was that a
Trust.
good, was that trust?
Yeah. How do you feel? How do you feel about it?
I feel good. I feel that we
Yeah.
did cover almost
Yeah,
everything I would love to chat about trusting, and yeah, I feel like we covered most of it.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Really, how can you trust yourself today? What sort of things are you seeking that, you know, can let you lean in more to trust? And just like nice little reflections for yourself, like feel into your body. What sort of feelings are coming up for you? What sort of feelings make you feel expansive? Anything that makes you feel expansive is really that soul being like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah. And if you want to drop in the comments on YouTube or on Instagram, you know, just let us know if you have any, you know, insights or experience with trust, or where you're at, or if this helped, or if this wasn't helpful, or whatever. If you have anything that you want to share, please, we'd love to hear about it. Here comes Miss Maple with a big log in her mouth.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Did she just open the door?
Oh my gosh.
Your dogs open the door.
No, she
Oh, she's sleeping. Oh, she's sleeping. Oh my God, look at her.
Can you see her with the log?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Like a beast.
Oh, she's a big dog. Like
She's
28.
Like 13 weeks old, and she's like carrying this like log in her mouth, just like
She's like,
people. Ha. Oh my God,
that's hilarious. 28 pounds. That's wild. Like Wilma is 65 pounds, and Wilma's almost 8 years old. Like Maple, I'd say, what do you think? Maple's going to be 120 pounder, maybe?
Ooh, I don't know. Her dad was 115, and her mom was like 80 something. So
Okay, so smaller. Yeah.
somewhere in there. Yeah, she could
Wow.
be big, but she'll be somewhere in there. She's a beast.
Okay, so her mom was 80. Was she still a big looking gal? More fluff, probably.
Not as much fluff as the dad. Dad was like a lot of fluff, but a big dog. Mom was just like slender, longer hair, and like Wilma size. Honestly,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
I guess I would say like Wilma size.
A little bit bigger. Well, like height wise. Yeah.
Yeah, just like maybe more weight. She just had I don't know. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, she'll be a big girl. She'll be a big girl. Alrighty. Well, enough
Till the next time.
enough talking about the puppy dogs. Yeah, until next time. Thanks everybody.
Ooh. Oh, and lasting. I just pulled 2 cards. What is already with you and going beyond normal. So what I feel with that is everything is in you, and go beyond bigger than what you sometimes put for yourself. That, you know, truly we are meant to there's no limitations for ourselves.
Right.
Just want to get that out there.
I love
for you.
that. Thank you.
All right, cool. All right, bye guys. Have a good one.
Bye. See you next time.